Guys, I've been looking forward to this one. Guys, welcome back into yet another video. This particular one, guys, is you see the title, you clicked on it, you know what time it is. It is time for the great debate, part 2, part dos. I don't know any more twos in other languages, but you get the pitch. I'm pretty excited about this one, pretty stoked on this one. I've been looking forward to doing this part 2 for quite some time. Other videos have came out prior to that. I kind of hate doing the whole breakup of the parts because of the simple fact that I do not produce them right back to back, which I should do, especially since it's a part of a series type situation, so you guys aren't lost and things don't get lost in translation in regards to what happened the first time. Quick recap. Basically, you got Beluga the Jaegerists versus Saint Chief. They're arguing the point of, at this particular moment that we're about to pick up on, the romantic involvement of Mikasa and Eren. So Beluga is under the impression more so that whole situation and scenario with Eren and Mikasa and him confessing his love for her was not so much a retcon, whereas Saint Chief is on the side that it was. I'm more so going to side with Saint on that. The only reason being is because the evidence that is in the text. And the evidence that is in the text that's presented to us is that really throughout the entirety of the story, anime and manga, we really saw no type of romantic interaction between the two. So it was more so like kind of you putting that together in your own head, the readers themselves, because for me on my end, I never saw that and I never took that from Eren to Mikasa. However, from Mikasa to Eren, yes, we saw her obsession with him. We kind of figured and put 2 and 2 together that she loved him, especially after she pretty much kind of confessed it when they were at the scene where all the Titans were there and he first activated the coordinate. We kind of pretty much put 2 and 2 together when it comes from her end to him. However, from him to her, it wasn't that fucking obvious. We never saw any indication that he had romantic feelings for her. We never saw that. Even Beluga even admitted the examples he gave were more so breadcrumbs, nothing definitive, but it was still just there in breadcrumbs. In my case, when you're trying to prove something and you're trying to emphatically prove a point, we need to have hardcore evidence. We can't have a possibilities or maybes or somewhat or sometimes. It has to be emphatically proven that this person was in love with this person to prove the point of Eren loving Mikasa. If you can't do that, then there's no point in bringing it up. That's on my end. That's how I feel about that. But others may feel differently. That's basically a quick synopsis of basically what happened in the first part. We're going to pick up right where we left off on that end. So we're going to continue to go through with this. I'm really excited to get into it. I'm not going to monologue you guys long in the beginning here. We're going to get straight into it. But before we do, you know the deal. Guys, if you're enjoying the content that's being produced, go ahead and like the video on your way in, as well as subscribe to the channel. These things help out the channel and help us grow and help us be seen to more people. And it is very much appreciated for those that do this. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Lastly, guys, go ahead and share the content as well as hit the notification bell so you guys are up to date and aware and in the loop of anything and everything that is being produced and put out on this channel. So without motherfucking ado, let's get into this. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into it. This is part 2, right where we left off on part 1, the great debate between Mr. Saint Chief and Mr. Beluga the Jaegerist. Let's get into this shit.
He didn't think about Historia because he didn't know her most of the time. But even after that, he didn't think about Historia. But he never thought about Mikasa, ever. And that's those are some points you could go at. That's it. I got some more for you. That's
he hit him, dog. He hit him with the 1-2. He hit him with the pop pop.
I was too half the 7 minutes then.
Okay, cool. Let's start it now.
What you got? Let's see.
So, I'm glad you brought up the Historia thing. As far as Historia, well, this is a kind of an embarrassing secret. Most people don't know about me, but it's gonna have to come out now. I actually did. I was actually an Eren guy for sure. Towards the end.
Not embarrassing secret, buddy. It would have made more sense. See, you're using logic because it would have made more sense. Because in my opinion, I felt as though that Eren and Historia had a little bit more in common, in a sense, especially them being connected with the families and all that stuff. I thought it was more so that, I just looked at Mikasa as more of somebody that he saved and somebody that they brought into the fold, into the family. But I never really looked at it in regards to him and Mikasa getting together, right? Never knew that. Never figured that. In my opinion, I never figured that. So, it is what it is. But not embarrassing, buddy. We all figured it.
So I'm definitely not saying there wasn't any breadcrumbs there. In regards to that, why Isayama chose to do such and such thing, not really relevant to the plot. Because I'd say if he liked Historia, that wouldn't be a retcon. If he liked Mikasa, that wouldn't be a retcon. There was breadcrumbs for both of them. And as far as the near-death experience thing, the season 2 finale was definitely a near-death experience, and he was absolutely thinking about Mikasa for sure. He had no LDM gear, and he was completely left out there in the wild. It was all over for him. People were actually calling it plot armor because it was so bad before they knew about the coordinate thing. So he definitely did think about her.
I don't think so.
She's right there. To be fair, she's right there.
Yeah, I don't think I have to agree. I don't think he was thinking about her. He was more so focused in that moment of why he felt useless. That was more so what the focus was on. It wasn't him thinking about her. It was more so him trying to save Hannes at that time because he felt as though that everybody kept saving him. And that's the thing, too. He never really specified when it came to that particular type of situation that, oh, Mikasa always comes and saves me. Oh, you always come and save me. He's saying everybody. He was mentioning that everybody always comes to save him, and he felt useless in that moment. That's what it was. It had nothing to do with Mikasa being like, oh, girl, I'm here to protect you. Superman this bitch. Like, it wasn't really that. It was more so him feeling useless and helpless in that moment because Hannes got killed. Mikasa was just there. She was just a byproduct of being there. You know what I mean? So.
You made the claim. I'm not bringing that as my proof. You said that he never thinks about her, and I'm telling you, well, yeah, he did.
I apologize. Let me just rephrase real quick.
It's not okay. All right, let's just use a little bit of common sense here. We're not saying that he never thinks about her, like at all. But what we're saying and what people are saying is that he doesn't think about her in that light. He doesn't look at her as a romantic partner. He's not thinking about her like that. Yes, she's jumbled into the mix of his friends and the people that he loves, sure. But he's not individually weeding her out, being like, you're the one that I love the most. That never happened until the end, until chapter 139. That never fucking happened. Every single one of the times that he was dealing with a situation like that, he wasn't thinking about her like that. His mind did not revert to Mikasa. It didn't revert to that. And as I said in the previous one, my personal take is that I think his most darkest part was when he was in the cave. Now, granted, that's up to interpretation and it's subjective on whether you thought that was the darkest part or not. I get that and I understand that. Trust me, I do. However, what I am saying is I'm saying that was more dark because that was when he gave up. He literally gave up and he had to have Historia smack him back to reality because he was done. He gave up. He said, hey, if it wasn't for my fucking family, y'all would have been straight. Everybody would have been straight. It's my fault. It's my father's fault. It's our fault. Man, go ahead and do your thing. Let's go ahead and complete this thing. Go ahead and end me now. He had given up. He was done. He didn't want to do nothing else. But at the point where Mikasa was there and everybody was there and before he activated the coordinate, he was more so trying to do something. He kept biting his hand. He was trying to react. He was upset in that moment because of the fact that nothing was happening. It wasn't like he wasn't trying. It was like, hey, man, this is fucking stupid. And it was out of frustration that he was upset. It wasn't from the lack that he wasn't trying. He was trying. By you trying, that shows that you have a will to fight. However, in the cave, there was no will. He didn't even care. He was done. He was ready to be eaten. So that's a little bit lower than me trying to act, but nothing happening. And I'm getting frustrated because nothing's happening. Right? That's all it is. And I'm being down on myself because I'm like, damn, I'm useless in this moment because I want something to happen. I want to stop this motherfucker from eating my dear friend Hannes, my family friend Hannes. Whereas down in the cave, it was, hey, I'm done. It's our fault. Eat me. You know what I'm saying? So nobody is not saying that he never thought about Mikasa ever. Of course, he thought about her, but what we're saying is he never thought about her in that way, in the romantic realm. That's what we're saying.
He doesn't think about her unless she's right in his face. Okay, go ahead.
Well, here's the other thing. Remember, he's on the ground thinking he's worthless. Who brings him that self-worth? Like you said with Historia. It's Mikasa. He stands up after Mikasa talks to him.
Yeah, he done that for Armin too. I guess they love each other. Yeah, Armin's done that for him too.
Maybe not. But again, as I said, it's bread.
That's what I was saying too in the last video. I was saying in instances to where that situation happens in anime all the time. It could be a student-master situation, and the master gets killed in front of the student, says something that flares the student up to get the resolve to kill the bad guy, right? It happens. It doesn't mean that there was a romantic involvement between the master student. It was just that they were there to help them up in that time. So again, we know again that from Mikasa to Eren, yes, she had romantic feelings for him. But on the flip, from Eren to Mikasa, no.
Crumbs. It's not a smoking gun. It's not like think about Grisha, for example. No one was really surprised when Grisha liked Eek. To be fair, they are related, but it's the same concept. Just because Eren isn't showing it explicitly doesn't mean he doesn't love her. There's definitely breadcrumbs there. There's definitely some stuff to go by, and I do think the blushing thing is very relevant because, again, it's definitely a sign of romance because Isayama's too shy to do anything else. Is that like everything?
I mean, I guess, okay. You go to the cross. So in the cross, can I ask you questions in between, or is it like we both talk? Because I feel like it's better when I ask you questions, bro.
Oh, for sure. Cross 20 minutes. You ask me questions, I can ask you any questions.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm about to do it right now.
All right, so set the time for 20 minutes.
All right, let's do this.
All right, 3, 2, 1, start.
20 minutes.
All right, so you go first or me?
You ask me.
I'll go first. Okay. All right. So, let's see. What's the first question I have for you? Name one instance of Eren whining other than 139 for Mikasa.
I can't name any.
Why does his face look like that? What's it? Why does his face do that? What's it?
I won.
Said I can't name any.
I know, because I won. That means I won. That's a retcon.
That's not a retcon.
How's it
Just because
not?
he didn't whine. Just because he didn't whine for her specifically does
No,
not
I said
mean
anything. Just any instance of whining. Any.
I said for Mikasa.
No. I said when he did it for Mikasa. Let me rephrase again. Name one time of Eren whining at all other than 139.
At all. He whines in chapter. He whines in chapter 50. He whines.
Wait, no. Go into why it's whining. Explain the whine. What makes it a whine?
I wouldn't really classify I wouldn't really classify 139 as a. What do you mean?
That's a whine. That's a whine. A whine is when you want something. When you want something, or when you want something that you can't have, and you're crying about the fact that you can't have it. Like I want Mikasa, but I can't have it. I want this, but I can't have it. You're just it's all about what you want, and that's it. That's whining. Whining is there's no substance to it. There's no substance to the complaint.
I get what he's saying. He's saying like baby, like you're again like a baby gets their toy taken away or something. Like I want this, please give it to me. Like that's whining and shit and being obnoxious. So again, I understand that. Sure, yeah, I get that.
Things number one, he whined about not having his freedom a bunch of times. Number
Oh,
two,
that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
number two, that reason why he can't have it is because him himself is not letting him have it. It's not like an immature thing. He's just expressing his emotions. He himself, it's not. No, it doesn't matter because you're saying, oh, why? He's not like a petulant child just whining because he can't have candy.
That's exactly what he's doing.
No,
he knew he was gonna die. He knew he was gonna die before that.
He knew he was gonna die because he is. He has the candy jar. It's not a childish thing. He's just throwing a temper tantrum on the floor because he can't have what he wants. He is just expressed.
Wow.
Wants
Jesus.
to be with Mikasa. He can't be with Mikasa, and he himself is the one who is making that happen. It's not. It's no one else. He's in control of everything.
So you can't name another instance of him whining because you're saying wanting to be free is whining. Wanting to be free from potential death from other people is whining. That's what you're saying. That's whining. So when a slave was like, "Mama, I don't want to be a slave no more," that slave was whining. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I can't hear you right now.
You can't hear me? Yeah, they said you're cutting out. Is everything okay?
Technical difficulties, guys. Let's get it.
Hello?
Okay, yeah.
I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. So
You repeat your.
yeah, I'll repeat what I said. So,
All right, we're back.
thing, right? So, if I was a slave, like an actual slave, like I was I was in slavery, and I was whining to I was complaining to my mom about how I didn't want to be a slave anymore. Is that whining?
No.
Okay. So Eren wanting to be free is not whining.
I don't think the Mikasa thing was whining either. So
Why
yeah.
not?
Because, as I said, he's just expressing the sadness he has that he can't be with her. And
That's
and
whining.
again,
If I express the sadness that I can't have a cake, that's whining.
I mean, not in this. I think you're simplifying the situation.
That's whining. We got to define what whining is at this point.
Let's define it. All right, so the definition of whining from Google states the making of a long, high-pitched cry or sound. Making or characterized by a long, high-pitched cry or sound. A whining voice. So that's the definition of it. So screaming, being like, and which he was screaming based on the fact of what we saw, because if I'm not mistaken, the letters were all cap locks. He was like, oh, I don't want to be with another man. I don't want to. I mean, it technically characterizes it. So that's the definition. Let's go back to it.
Whining because you can't have a cake, and whining because you're never gonna see your loved one again because of your own actions. I think those are different.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, he already knew the long time ago that he was going to die. He knew that when he found out that he was going to die, he didn't whine for 1 second that he wouldn't be with Mikasa. He didn't give a fuck about that. So why all of a sudden does he care?
Oh, good question. Exactly. He was being stoic beforehand, and then Armin punched him and started yelling at him to tell what's going on.
So you're saying Armin punch is what made Eren be honest. He wasn't honest before. That's what you're saying?
Well, of course he wasn't honest. Look back at the chapter. He gives a proper answer. He just expresses what he actually internally feels inside. If you don't, okay, I'll say that for cross-X. Actually, I can say now.
This is the cross-X.
If you want cake, right? And someone says you can't have cake,
Right.
and you internally want the cake. You feel like, oh, okay, I want to have this. But what you project to the world is, okay, fine, right? Armin was demanding the truth about how Eren actually felt about it, and that's how he actually felt about it. You can put on a face, and Eren did put on a face, even in 139. The truth for Armin and for the story, we needed to know what was going inside of his mind.
I would have to say I agree with Beluga on this one. I do agree with how he phrased it. At that point in time, it was more so that Armin was trying to get the truth out of him. And by him hitting him and like, hey man, just tell the truth, bro. He actually did do those sentiments. However, it still is a retcon. And the reason why it's a retcon is because none of this was laid out in the previous chapters. That's the issue. The issue people seem to forget is that we want to see some type of proof of that. If Eren was exhibiting Mikasa-esque behaviors towards her, maybe more of a subtle tone, more subtly than she was, and we could pick up on it. Prime example I like to always give, like an Armin Annie situation, we would then be on board with that. We could understand that. We could say, okay, yeah, we saw that, man. He is upset because he can't be with her, man. Like, if we saw that constantly throughout the 138 chapters, we would say, all right, cool. Throughout the entirety of everything, we never got any type of romantic feelings from Eren to Mikasa. But we did get them from Mikasa to Eren. But we never got it the other way. So that's why it's still considered a retcon, even though I agree with what Beluga is saying, because that can happen. You could be really in your mind not wanting something or having an issue with it, right? But you're not wanting to say it, but then somebody coaxed you into saying it. Like, go ahead and tell the truth. Come on, man, go ahead and tell the truth. And then before you know it, you blurt out the truth. You know, instead of saying it like, yeah, man, I really did want that cake. But if they're constantly badgering you like, yo, man, you know you want that cake. Go and get that cake, man. You don't get that cake, man. You know you hungry, man. You want that cake. And then all of a sudden he's like, yes, I want the cake. Goddamn, you happy? I want the cake, man. It could get like that. That's why I say I do agree with Beluga to that point. I do agree with him on that point. Let's continue.
But Armin wasn't even crying for that information. Armin, the reason why Eren said that is because Armin brought her up being with another man. That's why that happened. It wasn't because of the punch.
And when he brought it up,
to do with it.
When he brought it up, he just said, "Yeah, bring me the book." When he brought it up, he just said, "Who knows?
Maybe she should be with another man." He was just talking shit. He didn't even think this fucking weirdo would do that shit. Even Armin.
I mean, to a degree, yes, but the fact that Armin did bring up Mikasa multiple times throughout that whole conversation they were having. Even in the beginning, he was like, hey, you know you really hurt Mikasa's feelings with that and saying all that stuff, right? Then they brought up Mikasa some more, and all of a sudden some more, and kept going. So then it just more than likely was just an overwhelming outburst. Again, as I said before, I don't mind the outburst. I don't care about the outburst. My problem is that none of this was factual evidence throughout the story. That's why it sucked. That's why a lot of people hated it, because it came out of left field. That's why. Because we could not definitively pick up on Eren loving Mikasa. Right? That's why it's considered a retcon to a lot of people, and that it came out of left field to a lot of people. I don't disagree with Beluga on this, because it can happen that way. The only thing that's holding Beluga back from winning this argument and winning this particular point is that we did not see any substance to any of that throughout the series. That's why. That's the only reason why. But I do agree with him that that could have been the way it was. Armin was badgering him about it. He finally just broke and said, I don't want that. I don't want that, because of the magnitude of what was happening and things of that nature. I could see that happening. The problem is that there was no evidence prior to that happening that would lead to that type of reaction. That's the issue.
Armin was surprised by it. His best friend he known his whole life, he was surprised. Like, what the fuck? That shit's weird.
Too.
He was.
Yeah, everyone was, because it's out of character. He's never acted like that.
It was out of character. I agree.
Acted like, in what way?
I agree. It was out of character.
Whined about something that was so insignificant, a relationship with Mikasa. He said out of his own mouth, I'm dying in 4 years anyways, it doesn't matter. and now he's crying because he can't be with her.
Right.
Yes, he loves her, and he's going to never see her again. Of course, he'd be sad about that.
But he didn't care all these other times. So why does he care now?
As I said beforehand, he was being somewhat mature. He's put on a face. He put on a face.
He put on a face inside the Titan's stomach when he was dying. He put on a face, man. When he had his arm to the air, when half his arm was ripped off, and he had no idea. In his mind, he was dead. He was psychologically telling himself that he was going to live. If it wasn't for the Titan serum, which he didn't know existed, he'd be dead. In that moment, he did not mention Mikasa.
I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with that too. That's why I said that multiple times. The outburst was out of character. But I can see from Beluga's point how if there was emphatic proof of Eren loving Mikasa throughout the story and it got to that point, people would be more accepting of that reaction. But since there was no proof at all and only breadcrumbs by his words, we couldn't determine that. We couldn't determine that they were in love from his end, right? If the breadcrumbs were to the degree of an Armin Annie situation, sure, we knew that they liked each other. We could tell that they liked each other. She was softer around Armin. Armin was more softer and confiding in her more. So we kind of could see that romance blooming, if you will. But Eren to Mikasa, it never was that way.
At all. That's not a face. He doesn't care about her in that way. She is not the forefront of his mind. The forefront of his mind is his goals. His goals of freedom. That's the forefront, not Mikasa. He's proven it time and time again.
I agree.
And until 139, now it's different.
I agree.
I completely agree with you.
What do you mean? That's a retcon, bro.
It's not a retcon. He is never gonna see her again.
He was never going to see her again when he was inside the Titan stomach.
True.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that after all those years, the relationship matured. Obviously, he got more infatuated with her as it went along. And the situation.
When?
Okay, well, for example,
you said that the scarf represents it. He gave her the scarf when they were kids.
He was a different person when he was 15 than when he was 19.
So the scarf didn't mean anything when he gave it to her when he was a kid.
No, it didn't mean something. I'm saying he's different.
So therefore he's always no. I mean romantically.
Romantically what?
Did the scarf mean something romantically when he gave it to her as a kid?
No.
So yes.
Yes. Okay. So therefore he has a romantic relationship with Mikasa in his mind as a kid.
No, I definitely know. He's saying yes to try to prove his point. But the reality is no, he was a child. He didn't know that. He gave her a scarf just because it was cold. And it was like, here you go. And something traumatic just fucking happened. And he grabbed her and was like, let's go. Right? He wasn't even looking at her like, oh, this girl is cute. Man, that man just literally, they just killed 3 grown motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? They just literally wiped them out. Right? Together. Something traumatic just happened. Her parents just got killed. Pretty much in front of her. He wasn't doing that out of romance. So, ooh, shit, man. She's sexy. They were kids. They were like, shit, man, well, maybe like 9, 10 years old or whatever. They didn't know nothing. Maybe even younger than that. They didn't know much. So, no, I will say no for sure. When he first initially gave her the scarf, it was not in a romantic thing. Now, I can agree with him that from when he was a teenager in the cadet corps up until later, yes, the relationship could have blossomed, the relationship could have bloomed and all that stuff, but we saw no evidence of it. We didn't see them spending time together that way. You know what I'm saying? Off in the cut, talking by themselves, doing little things here and there. We never saw that. We never saw any evidence of that. So.
And it's been years since then, and even inside the Titan stomach, he didn't think about her one goddamn time.
One goddamn time.
As I said, he's consumed with his goals. I agree. I completely agree with that.
Yep.
Which means he got retconned, bro. He wasn't consumed with his goals anymore. He was talking about Mikasa, not his goals. He got retconned.
He did.
It's not a retcon.
He did.
He's allowed to be sad that he's never going to see her again.
Nobody is saying that he's not allowed to have these feelings. But what we're saying is that the feelings came out of left field. That's what we're saying. The points that Beluga made were factual and correct, and I do agree with them. But in this instance, it is a retcon because we never saw evidence to that.
Come on, bro. Gotta admit that that's a retcon.
I don't
How could he never have been said ever in any instance of the story, but now all of a sudden he is, and it's not a retcon? What's a retcon then?
What's a retcon? If all of a sudden he
Definition time. All right, so definition here of a retcon states in a film, television series, or other fictional work, a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events, typically used to facilitate a dramatic plot shift or account for an inconsistency. So that's what a retcon is. That is the definition of a retcon. And based upon that definition of said retcon, makes 139 a retcon. Because of the simple fact that this information was not in enough details for people to make the determination that Eren was in love with Mikasa. We saw it on the flip side. We saw it on the reverse for sure from Mikasa to Eren, but we did not see it from Eren to Mikasa. We did not see that. So based off of the reaction that we got in 139, it is the epitome of a retcon, which I just defined. Sorry, Beluga.
like all of a sudden he I mean I can't. If what would be a retcon? If he chose a 50-year plan all of a sudden, like
I mean, he damn near did. What about when he said? What about what he said? A fucking Code Geass ending would be stupid, and then he did that. What about that? Is that a retcon?
I don't. In my opinion, he didn't do a Code Geass ending.
He did.
Specifically because he. I mean.
He did. He did. He did Code Geass ending. He did the exact thing that Code Geass did. Exactly. Code Geass, Lelouch had his best friend kill him in order for him to be made out as the villain, so that everybody in the world will come together to become safe or whatever the case may be. That is exactly what Eren did. And in chapter 12, he said that was stupid and rosy at best when he was asked by Pixis on top of the fucking wall. So yes, he did a Code Geass ending for sure.
What's between his ending and the Code Geass ending?
Code Geass ending.
Well, Lelouch didn't kill people, so that's the difference, yeah. But
they won't be able to wage war. That was the. He didn't say,
they can definitely wage war.
I mean, not according to him. He says they won't be able to wage war.
It doesn't matter. The crux of the Code Geass ending, the main point of the Code Geass ending was that he rose up to create a enemy that people would be able to unite against. That is exactly what Eren did. Eren became the enemy, the threat, the devil of the island, in order to preserve the island by making his friends out to be the heroes. That's the Code Geass ending for sure. So,
well, wouldn't he be an idiot to think that?
You're saying he thought the Lelouch plan was stupid.
He did. Chapter 12.
He did not do it. The reason why that they're not going to fight is because he killed them. That's his reason.
They're still alive though. He left them alive. If he killed them all, then it wouldn't be a Lelouch plan. But he kept 20% alive, so they will do it.
Yep.
That would just be his ignorance. When Armin asked him about it, he said
the Code Geass plan, bro.
No, when Armin asked him about the safety of parity, he said they won't be able to wage war anymore. He didn't say, "Oh, you guys are gonna."
It doesn't. No, he didn't say they wouldn't be able to wage war anymore. He said that they won't be able to attack or wage war anytime soon. That's what he said. We have to get the words correct because clearly in the extra pages they came back and retaliated on that ass. But what we saying is that he said they won't be able to attack anytime soon. That's what he's saying. So in essence, yes, Saint is right. He did do the 50-year plan, but he did an extreme version of it. that didn't involve Historia having kids and resorting them to cannibalism just to maintain a founding Titan. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't what he wanted. So he did the extreme portion of it by wiping out 80% of humanity, but leaving 20% alive. And then this 20% would hopefully, right, revere them as heroes who stopped him, who stopped Eren. That was his plan. That is a Lelouch plan. It is what it is. Y'all can take out the small nuances here and there that Lelouch didn't murder billions and this, and that. Sure, we can take that out. But Lelouch united the people by creating himself out to be the enemy. His best friend and all them were now held as heroes because why? They stopped him. Same difference. Eren presented himself as the enemy, which he then had his friends kill him so that they could be made out to be the heroes. Lelouch ending. Code Geass.
Gonna get along to a common enemy. He said they won't be able to wage war anymore.
Okay, let me quote it for you here. At 139, Armin said, "Did you do this?" I'm paraphrasing. "Did you do this? Did you do all this to set us up to be so the world would see us as heroes? Was that your plan?" Eren says, "Yes, that's right."
Sorry about that.
It's all good. Okay. But yeah, Eren said, "Yes, that's right." So Eren in the source material of 139 said that he did the Code Geass plan.
No, he doesn't. And then look what he says. Look what Armin says. "So you want us to be like the Tiber family after the Great Titan War. We're supposed to protect Parity from the reprisal from humanity outside world." And then he says they won't be able to retaliate immediately. He doesn't say you guys are all...
Immediately.
Yeah. It's not the Code Geass.
They still will be able to. They still will be able to wage war, right? You initially said that they won't be able to wage war. That's what you ended it at. Again, words matter, Beluga. That's what you said. However, he said immediately or anytime soon, right? So that would indicate that he did the Code Geass ending because he left the initial 20% alive deliberately to paint his friends out to be the heroes. That is Lelouch, the epitome of Lelouch. He did just the same thing. The only thing is that he didn't murder billions of people. That's it.
His plan, his protection of Parity was not...
Do you know what the Code Geass plan is?
It was a while ago.
Let me tell you what the Code Geass plan is, because we don't even have to say Code Geass. What he said, what was said in Attack on Titan source material was, Pixis said, "How do you feel if that there was a common enemy that the world had to unite against that common enemy? Do you think people would set aside their differences to go and vote versus that common enemy?"
Correct.
Do you think people would set aside their differences? Eren said that shit sounds stupid in a bitch. In my opinion, that sounds dumb as fuck. So either Eren was lying there, but why the fuck would he lie there? So I'm just cross that out. So he's telling the truth. He think that shit's stupid than a bitch, right? Then he did that.
Right.
How is that not a retcon, bro?
Because get out of here. Hold on, my baby brother's down here. Dude,
It's
bring
all
him up
good, bro.
here. What is he doing down here? How did he even slip? Okay, listen. No, his plan was to do the rumbling. He ideally wanted the rumbling. The reason why it's not, and again, the reason why it's not Code Geass is because he said that he'd finished the rumbling. Would Lelouch or
it doesn't matter what he would or wouldn't. He didn't.
He didn't because he got stopped by his friends, not because he wanted to.
So you're under the belief that
Whoa.
Eren...
Beluga. Beluga, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Oh, buddy. You just read it. He wanted to be stopped. Let me go to it, okay? All right. Here it is. It was all to push us away from you. and make us into heroes who saved humanity from extinction by hunting you down? That's right. How could you not be seen as the saviors of every surviving member of society? You turned your backs on Paradise in spite of being island devils to stand on the side of humanity to the end. You'd probably become the most respected beings in the world. That arrow is pointing to Eren. This arrow is pointing to Eren. This is a whole plan that's laid out because he wanted to present himself as the villain, as the evil entity, so that he could prop his friends up as the heroes. So, by propping your friends up as heroes would inevitably mean that you would lose, right? So, by you losing and you wanting to prop your friends up as heroes would also indicate that you planned to lose. You planned for them to do that. It's right there in the text. Come on, guys. Come on now. Beluga, my friend. Come on, man. It's right here. Come on.
Did it get stopped intentionally?
I'm not under that belief.
Oh, so he did get stopped intentionally.
Yeah, but his plan.
Then he did the
But
code
he
Geass,
wanted to do the rumbling.
but not completed.
Just because it wants to be stopped doesn't mean that he wants to be stopped at any particular point.
He wanted to be stopped before completion,
He did.
so that his friends
I
could be
don't-
seen as heroes, which he said was his
I
plan.
don't subscribe to that.
But that's what he said. So he lied.
When he figured out that 80% was going to happen, because he says you will kill 80%. That's what he said.
I wanted you to be seen as heroes. That was my plan.
Yeah, after he.
And it says in this interpretation, the surviving members of society. Surviving. So he planned to have a portion of them survive so that they could be seen as heroes. It's a plan. This is a mute argument here. This is a mute argument. There's no point of even doing that because the text refutes whatever you're about to say, Beluga. It refutes it. You can say what you want to say. You can believe what you want to believe. If that's the case, then we read a different book entirely. But the text clearly states that Eren planned for a certain amount of society to remain in order for his friends to be seen as heroes. He would initially and have to take the fall. He would have to lose. So he planned to lose. Just as simple. That's how that adds up. He planned to lose.
He was going to get stopped at 80%.
It doesn't matter the percentages. It does not matter, guys. It does that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there was 80%, if he wiped away 80%, if he wiped away 90%. It doesn't matter if he wiped away 99%. It does not matter. The plan in place for Eren was for him to stop at a certain amount and leave surviving people in society and be stopped and to take the fall for all the bad shit that happened and have his friends come in and swoop in like heroes and kill him so that they can be revered as the heroes who stopped him. It doesn't matter what the percentage was. That has no relevancy to anything. What matters is the plan. And what the plan states is that there were going to be people left alive in order for his friends to be seen as heroes. If he was just going to kill everybody, there would have been no point.
Bro, it's either he wanted to get stopped at 80% or he didn't.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, my bad. Not at 80. Either he wanted to get stopped or he didn't want to get stopped because he had all the power. He could have stopped them from stopping him. We both know that, but he chose not to. Why?
don't think he chose 80%, and he said
Maybe not
that
the number, but he definitely chose to be stopped before he killed them
he
all.
would have rumbled. That's not the loose plan. He said he would have rumbled. And again, his plan doesn't hinge on them being heroes. He says they'll lose their capacity to wage war. Not we'll all be lovey-dovey. He says they'll lose
That's
their.
not my point. My point is that he planned for them to be seen as heroes attacking a common threat. He planned for that the people of the other side to choose to side with them because they had a common threat. That's Eren's plan, bro. It was. He was the common threat.
Listen, he wanted to make them heroes, but that was not his plan to save parity. His plan to save parity was what he said. They lost their capacity to wage war.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that he said that plan was. I'm saying that he said that plan was stupid to Pixis, and he still did it.
Yeah.
No,
regardless of that goal.
What he did was he destroyed their capacity to wage war. At least in his opinion.
What does that matter? That does not matter that he destroyed their capacity to wage war. That's irrelevant to the point. The point that is being made is that Eren chose to be stopped by his friends. That is it. He chose that. He planned for that to happen. Because in order for them to be revered as heroes would have to indicate that he would be stopped by them. I mean, it's easy comprehension there. He planned for that. He said it. It doesn't matter about the nuances. We're getting into the nuances behind it. He stopped at 80, or he stopped at 95, or he stopped at 50. It doesn't matter when he stopped. What matters is the point that he chose to stop, to make his friends be the heroes. Doesn't matter. That's irrelevant to the point.
Why do you keep going to that? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his plan to make them heroes. Eren, from the original, he would have said, "There's no way that these people will ever see them as heroes. That's dumb." That's what he would have said. But now on 139, he's saying, "I hope they see you as heroes." Retcon.
It's not a retcon. He wants them to be seen as heroes, but again, his plan to protect parity was
the only way it could not
wage war.
Sorry, I didn't mean ever. The only way it could not be a retcon is if throughout the story of Attack on Titan, Eren learned that it's possible for people to unite to attack a common foe. He never learned that, so therefore he has no reason to change his mind on that idea. So it came out of thin air. He did because he made it. He did.
Listen,
why not just kill all 100%?
Well, based on what the definition of a retcon is, technically, yeah, that would be considered a retcon. Because a retcon is new information that imposes on previously established information that was already given to us. We were already given him saying that he didn't like it. We already were given that it was a trash ending, and it's a dumb ending. So in our minds, we wouldn't think, as the reader, we wouldn't think that he would go that route because he already previously established that that's a stupid thing. But he does it anyway. Like Saint said, what wouldn't be considered a retcon is if he said that was stupid, but then throughout the story, he started to see that there was maybe a possibility that people would forgive and this plan was actually possible because of evidence that he may have seen. Then he chose to do that. But we saw that. Like, we saw that throughout the story, or we saw that throughout the anime and throughout the manga. We read that there were instances to which started to slowly change his mind, which then led to that action, right? But we didn't see that. We only saw that he said it was stupid, and that even by him saying it was stupid, everybody still hated them motherfuckers. Doesn't matter, right? So...
Because he didn't want to kill his friends, because that would
he didn't have to kill his friends. No, it didn't. He could have stopped them. He could have did it without killing them.
And hold on a sec.
Hello? I'm joking.
Should have defined the term retcon. Yeah, probably. I just feel like everybody knows what a fucking retcon is. Like, I don't have to define a term that's like so cut and dry. Like, character was like this at the beginning, and now they're not like this no more. Out of nowhere. It wasn't a character development. It just happened out of thin air.
Yeah.
He has an argument that's indefensible. Like, I could never, even though how good I am at arguing, if you asked me to play devil's advocate for the ending of Attack on Titan, I could never do it. There's just nothing you could say. It's poorly written. Like, I can't.
I agree with that.
I can't make math. Like, I can't make magic happen, bro.
Yeah,
What it is.
I agree.
Willie showed them that it couldn't work. Oh, yeah. Willie showed him that it couldn't work. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. If he had have said that Eren had, like, that's why I left it there, because I wanted to see if he had said, like, no, he didn't learn it. I'd have been like, bro, if anything, he learned the fucking opposite. Like, hell no, these motherfuckers is not about to work together under any circumstance.
Hello.
Yeah, we hear you, but your camera's not on. Even the Eldians from the other side of the ocean, they was willing to kill. They didn't even want to unite with them. Like, I was like, man, fuck them Eldians. Fuck those Paradisians. Kill them. We're the good guys. We like y'all. But fuck them. You can't defend this. There's things you can defend, but this you can't. Eren was retconned in so many different ways.
Let's just continue with the argument. Okay, listen.
All right, hold on. I'm about to put the timer.
Can you bring me volume?
I'm about to put the timer. Hold on. I'm about to timer.
Volume 4. Well, I'm just getting my book.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, listen. I believe you asked me about the Lelouch thing about it being rosy. Listen, he did not. His plan for Eldia was not to make the world all come together into peace and harmony because he needed to
kill them all.
heroes. Huh?
Nobody didn't kill them all.
He got stopped. He wanted to be stopped. What he said was.
Hold on, bro.
You can't speed past that now, Beluga. You just said that he wanted to be stopped, but at first you said you didn't want to be stopped. Which is it? You can't just speed past that. Act like I didn't catch that. I listened very well. Because at first you said he didn't want to be stopped. Now you're saying he wanted to be stopped.
We gotta establish some things here, okay? We gotta establish the way you think of the story. Did Eren want to be stopped? Yes or no?
Yes, I would say yes.
So Eren wanted to be stopped. So why did he not kill them all?
What do you mean?
Was him being stopped out of his control? Did he control the stopping? Did he choose to be stopped, or did he handicap himself, or was he stopped out of his control? Like, he couldn't. They just were so good he couldn't stop them. Which one was it?
I think it's because Zeke got killed.
So
the rumbling. That's when the rumbling stopped.
Well, I mean, my that's not my question, bro. My question is, did Eren did he actively try to his best ability to do a 100%, or did he want to stop? He want them to kill him before he was able to do 100%.
I think it's that he was conflicted. I don't think he was going fully for 100%, but we do know he wanted 100%.
Okay, but okay, what did he do?
What did he do?
What did he do? What was his choice in this? I don't care what he wanted. What did he choose? Did he choose to go for 100%, or did he choose to handicap himself so they would stop him before 100%?
I'm gonna say he definitely handicapped himself by leaving them around. Yes, I would say he handicapped himself.
Other than that, did he handicap himself?
I mean, there might be. I don't really see an instance where he handicaps himself, but I mean, maybe there is one.
Well, I'm asking you, like, you defended the ending. You don't even know what he did. You don't even know what your main character did in the climax. You defended the ending. How is it well written? You don't even know what he did.
Well, no, I do know he's conflicted.
Okay, I'm asking you.
Asking me what?
What did he do?
What do you mean? What did he do?
Did he decide to be stopped, or did he decide to continue but got stopped and it was out of his control?
I would say that it was somewhat out of his control.
So it's out of his control.
Somewhat.
Kind of, because he left his friends around, but that was in his control.
Okay, so you're saying other than the fact that he didn't take away their freedom to fight him, that is why he is out of his control. If he had have done that, then it would have all been in his control. But because he did that, everything else after that, aside from that, was out of his control. But he could have stopped it there. Is that what you're saying?
Can you say that again?
Okay. Yeah, I kind of worded it badly. Let me say it again. Other than the fact that he allowed them to fight him, other than the fact that he didn't take their Titan powers away, other than that, was everything else outside of his control? or in his control? Which one?
I would say a lot of things were in its control. Yes, I think. Yeah.
So even outside of the fact that he took away their Titan powers, a lot of things were in his control.
Yeah.
Okay, we agree on that. So the fact that things were in his control means that the result that happens was what he chose, because it was in his control.
Yes.
So if he chose for his friends to kill him before the rumbling completed, then he chose the Code Geass plan that he said was stupid at the beginning of the story, which is a retcon.
Okay.
It
Two
is.
problems with that. Number one, I don't believe that he chose to get stopped at 80%. Number one. Number
Jesus.
two. No, I said at 80%.
Look, we got to stop with that. Because, see, what he's doing is, instead of conceding and saying, okay, yeah, you're right, he wants to consistently bring up the 80%. The 80% is irrelevant. The number in the percentage is irrelevant. It doesn't matter, as I said, if he got stopped at 50%, 20%, 40%, 95%, 99%, 99.9%. It doesn't matter when he got stopped. The point is that he got stopped because he chose to get stopped. That's what we're missing. We're missing that fundamental fact. It doesn't matter about the percentage. It only matters about his choice of getting stopped. Doesn't matter.
Specifically 80%.
Okay, it doesn't matter the number. The percentage number doesn't matter. People still alive that can side with him.
Yeah.
That can potentially side with the island aliens. It doesn't matter the number. The fact that he left those people alive means that he chose Code Geass plan.
Yep.
No, absolutely not. Because he, again, in I believe it's chapter 10 you're referring to, he
12
is not doing that. He's
Chapter
not
12.
uniting the world under the power of friendship. He's uniting the world under bigger army diplomacy. He says they lose their capacity to wage war. It is not the Lelouch ending. Or the whatever he described in chapter 10. He wanted to make his friends heroes. He wants to be stopped. Yes, all that is true. However, he did not base his plan of peace on friendship and love. He based it on they lost their capacity to wage war. In fact, it appears like Armin. It looks like
he did not base it off the fact of they just wouldn't wage war. That wasn't his goal. His goal was clearly stated. He said what his goal was. He didn't state, hey, look, guys, I'm doing this because I want to be stopped. So I'm going to leave a few people alive so that they wouldn't be able to wage war temporarily for y'all. And y'all will get time to be able to do whatever it is. Because if it was only about war, don't you think that he would have just 100% wiped them out? If his goal was to destroy the world so that they would not be able to wage war, then he would have just destroyed the entire world. He would have had a reason for his friends to be held as heroes. Because if it was all about war and it was all about the retaliation of the rest of the world, why not go ahead and get rid of everything? Why not go ahead and destroy it all? I have the power to. Then we wouldn't have to worry about war at all. So, again, come on, man. We got to use deduction skills here. If him doing the rumbling was based on the fact of stopping the outside world from being able to wage war, then he would have just rumbled 100%. He wouldn't even have had his friends be in the mix because he would have just rumbled it and destroyed everything. No, his main point was to be stopped so that his friends could be held in the highest regard. That's what it was. That was his main point. Not to stop the outside world from waging war, because if that was the case, he would have just 100% wiped them out. Because then there would be no reason to wage war. Come on, man.
You keep keeping that part out temporarily.
That's Armin's. That's Aaron's thing. Look what Armin says. He says they wanted to be like the Tiber family, right? And then he says, they'll rumble and kill 80% of humanity. They'll lose their capacity to wage war. He didn't say,
stop skipping the sentences that they.
Yeah, yeah.
Immediately, my boy. They can't do it right away, which gives you time. Which gives you time to build an army, so you have a chance to fight back if they decide to fight you. But if they don't, because they want to be your friends, then cool. Code Geass ending. But if I had killed all these motherfuckers, there wouldn't be no need for a Code Geass ending. There wouldn't be no need to wait, because we know they can't kill you, because they're dead.
That was prime. That was perfect. I kid y'all not. I said the same thing. I literally just said the exact same thing. There will be no point of it. That's why he's laughing. That's why he's laughing right there. You see that? That's why he's laughing. Because again, I just said the same thing verbatim. If it was only about the waging of war and stopping the outside world from retaliating, just wipe them all out. If that was your goal, if your goal was to not have them wage war, kill them all. But no, that wasn't his goal. His goal was to make his friends out to be revered as the heroes. So I would have to inevitably leave people alive to see this action, right? So I want my friends to stop me. That's it. That's literally it. Code Geass ending. Agreed. I 100% agree with that. Just saying. Well, guys, we are going to call it here. Guys, this has been great. This has been very entertaining. I said a lot. I think we got through a decent extra amount of the video. So there's definitely going to be a part 3, maybe even a part 4, because again, the original video is 2 hours long. So I'm breaking this down into bite-sized portions so that you guys will be able to digest it and be able to understand the things that are happening, because just too long, you may click off, you might not be interested, you might do this and this and that. I don't want to have a 2-hour video put up either, so I am going to break this thing down and put it here. Now, we'll say this. The last part that I am going to do on this is I'm going to go ahead and end it at part 3. So I'm not going to do part 4 as I previously stated. I'm going to go ahead and do part 3 and finale it out and just finish the rest of it out, because I don't want it to be too many videos, because if I'm doing that many videos every goddamn time, again, you guys are having to go back and re-listen to the last one just to determine where we left off and things of that nature. And I don't want it to be confusing to y'all. I want it to be as digestible as possible. So we're going to end this part at part 2, and then the next part I do is going to be the finale. And we're going to go ahead and finish the great debate between Mr. Beluga the Jaegerist and Mr. Saint Chief. And we're going to see who comes out on top. This is the part of the video where it's all on you. I need you guys to go ahead and comment down below. Get them fingers ready. Let me know your thoughts thus far on the debate. Let me know if you were there live and you saw the debate and what your thoughts are regarding it. Or let me know if you're watching it from my end. I'll also put a link to the original debate without me commentating and interrupting down below as well, so you guys can watch it straight through if that's something you want to do. Or if you just like listening to this Lord's voice, you can just watch the video that I'm putting up. Either way works for me. But, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. As I said, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's goddamn day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.